Hey, Joe, I know we talk about turnovers a lot with you, but when you don't get any against the Steelers, does that kind of emphasize how important they are for you as a defense?
Yes. I mean, that was, and I just talked to the defense about that this morning, showed them a little cut-up tape. But getting turnovers by us defensively, it changes the game because we either want to score with it, which we have, or we want to get it back for our offense to set them up. And not getting turnovers versus Pittsburgh was huge.
Did you feel there were chances there for you guys?
Oh, yeah, there was balls tipped. It just felt like the football guys weren't with us. The RPO, we squeezed twice. The ball's in the air. We have three guys around it. The tip on the third one, barely missed it. So there were some opportunities. We were just a step slow.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. We'll go to Jeff Shadell for our next question.
Hey, Joe, Jarvis Landry just told us he's playing with a broken rib. I know that makes him brave and everything, but as a defensive coach, doesn't that make you say, hey, let's go hurt this guy?
No, we never think like that. And to be honest with you, you rarely ever, guys are playing injured. You rarely ever hear about it. Jarvis is fighting through it. And, I don't think guys will take shots on people like that, to be honest with you.
I mean, come on. I mean, don't really, his ribs are right there and his arms are up. A DB's got a shot at him. He's not going to take it.
No, I don't. I mean, for me, I'm not coaching that. I hope other people aren't coaching that. Just try to play the game clean. And, that's something probably you got to ask the other team, not me.
Nate Ork, you have our next question.
Hey, Coach, what did you learn facing Joe Burrow about Joe Burrow that you didn't necessarily know, just by, watching LSU tape or anything like that? And then how will that affect you in your planning this week?
No, we knew he was a good quarterback just based on the plays that we saw. But, seeing it field level, does a nice job going through his progressions. He's just not a one-look quarterback. I think they tailored some of their system to what he did at LSU. You could see that in what they were doing. But I think overall, as we continue to watch tape, he's really doing a nice job executing their offense. And I tell you what, he can take a shot too now.
Thanks, Nate. Tony Grossi.
All right. Joe Mixon didn't practice second day. If Mixon is not available for that, how does that affect your game planning?
We know he's a good back, but they're capable at the position. With Giovanni there, he's been playing for a long time. And he's been productive as well. So next man up for them, we have to be ready regardless. They have sound schemes. They're doing a good job putting it together. We got to be ready to go regardless of who the back is.
And two of your players who were out have now been in the flow. Ronnie Harrison is coming back. We saw what he did in the Jets game. And Mack Wilson is another game into being himself. Do you see these guys as possible, big upgrades to your defense once they get full and once they get whole in your defense?
Yeah, like what we see from both of them. With Mack, playing last year, you got a chance to really evaluate him. And for us, Ronnie, it's been getting a little bit better every week. In the Colts game, big play running down the sideline. So we definitely feel like they have a future and to be very good players for us defensively.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. George Thomas, you have our next one.
Hey, Coach, I was just wondering, has that passing game improved any? And how have those wide receivers developed since that second game of the season?
Yeah, they're being productive. And, T. Higgins, he's number 85. He's a guy that's emerged as well. They drafted him this past season. But they have a full complement of receivers. And that's why they probably threw it against us 61 times. But they have good players out there. You can see them being productive in the passing game. They're probably getting more comfortable with the scheme. And it'll be another hard game for us. We're going to have to match up and win some outside.
Is it kind of weird that A.J. Green right now looks like the third option in that passing game?
He's still getting his touches when you look at the numbers. But I know he's coming back off an injury, so who knows where he's at. But when he does get the ball, he looks like the same A.J. Green we've seen in the past. I just think they have some other guys around them they're trying to spread the ball to.
Thank you,
sir.
George. Scott Petrick, you're up.
Hey, kind of following up on that, Joe, when a team plays as much three wides as Cincinnati does and has those three weapons there, how important is it to have a guy like Kevin Johnson, and how has he been playing for you since he's come back from that liver?
Kevin's playing well. I think the first game, like I said, he was working off the rust. He's probably a little nervous as well, but since then, I think he stepped up and has played extremely well for us and will continue to get better. In the NFL, it's critical that you have a third corner because you play more nickel defense. You know, you're going to be 65%, you know, in nickel. And he gives us the ability to match up and do some things. So I'm looking forward to watching him play, and hopefully he plays well Sunday night. Or Sunday, excuse me, afternoon.
Thank you, Scott. Nate Orr, back to you.
Hey, Coach, with, you know, obviously the emphasis on takeaways is there, and this goes back to that question earlier. It seemed like, you know, when Denzel Ward got caught on the out and up for the touchdown, do you talk to him about like the balance there of taking a risk, trying to get a takeaway? Or, I mean, how do you view that play from him and what was going through his head?
Anytime there's a big play, and that, you know, that was a play that he got hit on in the game, the first thing you look at is what did he do technically? And there were some things we thought that he could do better at the top of the route in terms of his eye discipline. Sometimes you get anxious and you think it's, you know, hey, here comes the big one. And sometimes when it looks too good and feels too good, there's a problem. And that's what had happened to him. Just got big eyes, and instead of keeping his eyes in the right place.
Thanks, Nick. Tom Wither.
Thanks, Rob. Hey, Coach, it sounds like you guys are a little more stable in the back with at least with the safeties getting healthier. How hard has this been, Joe, to figure out what you got and who you are with all this, you know, piecemeal stuff you've had to do for 6 weeks?
Yeah, you know, it's tough because there's certain things in our defense that we want to do, but right now it's probably not the right thing to do. It's just getting more reps, figuring out what guys can do, how much you can put on their plate. But I think it's a problem that's going on throughout the NFL that everybody's dealing with, and we're in the same boat. And you know, we're not going to make excuses for it. We're just going to keep pushing forward and just try to keep adding things that we feel are going to help us play better defense.
Thanks, Tom. Nate Orr.
Along those lines, Coach, how's Carl Joseph looking now that he's back out there on the practice field?
Yeah, he's coming back. He's going to be out there today and, you know, take some reps. So we'll see where he's at today. You
had mentioned earlier this season that he's a guy with a chip on his shoulder. How do you see that show up in his personality and his play?
I think he's always felt like because you hear him talk, like all the guys talked at one point during the offseason. And I feel like he probably felt like he was overlooked out of high school, overlooked, you know, in college. So I just think he has an internal chip where he wants to prove to everybody that he can play. And, you know, obviously coming from Oakland and not getting another contract there, I just think that's just something he always has in the back of his mind. And my biggest thing is, hey, you're still in the NFL, you're playing, just show up and play the best you can, but don't try to play and make plays outside of what you're supposed to do. And that's just been my biggest coaching point to him.
We have time for one more quick one. Then we got to get Coach out to practice. Mary Kay.
Hey, Coach, just wondering, with the success that Miles has had this season, do you anticipate, you know, just even more double teaming, more chipping, and people just really, you know, scheming to get him out of the game? And when that happens, what can you just keep moving him around, or, you know, how are you going to counteract that?
Well, part of it is moving them around. You know, we're definitely aware of the looks when they are going to chip or, you know, slide the protection to them. But you have to have balance in your defense. So, you know, if a team is going to slide the protection to him, then we may blitz away. And you got to make a choice. So I think you have to put that on tape, and then people are going to have to make a decision on how they're going to protect. And
did you feel like, you know, the Steelers really did a good job of kind of helping to neutralize him a lot of the game?
Yeah, I mean, you have to give them credit, man. They play well. They made plays against us. Ben's a veteran quarterback, and getting the ball out of his hands, so there was some protection. He was getting the ball out of his hands quick. So it was a combination of a few things, but overall, they did a good job.